What kind of test is this? Sorry? It's an essay test. Melissa, what does essay mean? Oh, that second part's interesting. Develop it in paragraphs. Essay. This is taken from the Writer's Inc., the manual that until recently was used as the standard writing manual for Sylvania School students starting in junior high all the way up through high school. Essay, a multi-paragraph composition in which ideas on a special topic are presented, explained, argued for, or described in an interesting way. Most importantly, multi-paragraph. My first criticism, you are not writing a paragraph, a single paragraph, if you are writing an essay. Ever. Mr. Moffat, the junior AP teacher, and I were kind of banging our heads against walls in unison when we were talking about students who see essay and then in the instructions see essay and write a single paragraph. No. An essay is multi-paragraphs always. So if you see integration and you see a mark that says one paragraph, question mark, exclamation point, and you lost a point because you did not use multi-paragraph development. Now, I don't have huge restrictions on the paragraph development. I didn't want a formal introduction, development, conclusion, and so on. I will want that later on, but I didn't ask for it here. All I wanted was for you to demonstrate some sort of paragraph development. So that's number one. Let's talk further. Good essays drew evidence from different chapters of the novel to show a trend in Knowles' writing. That means that you didn't just look at that one quotation or that one moment. An essay of literary analysis on a particular topic looks at what Knowles is doing in the novel. That's why the literary analysis claim is such as it is. So if you say in a separate piece, John Knowles uses this to do this, you're not focusing on a specific moment, you're focusing more on a trend of his development. And after our discussions, you should have plenty of trends of development to work on. Symbolism and allegory you could have worked on, but you don't even have to address something that massive. You could have addressed the use of imagery to develop a romantic adventure view of the war and use one of your quotations for that. Some of the best essays I read talked about how he uses the Naguamsa and Devon rivers at different places in the novel to develop contrasting moods. But those of you who focused only on a specific moment in the novel, only the moment carried by your quotation, would have lost points. So, 4 essays focused on the one moment from the quotation with no examination of evidence from elsewhere. And you probably would have lost points on the support. So does the novel or does the essay provide support from a variety? Good essays use Knowles as the subject of the claim sentence and continue to focus on him throughout the essay. 4-part claim structure. On your instructions it says, on your rubric, under claim, does the claim follow analytical format? Is it adequately specified? At this point in the class, there's really no excuse for not following that 4-part claim format. I've taught you 2 types of claims for writing. The claim for the QAR writing was less formal, smaller writing, prompt response claim. And you know the prompt response approach. Restate the prompt and answer in your first sentence. But this is an essay. Full literary analysis is necessary. The 4-part claim, in a separate piece, John Knowles uses this device for this effect. And you needed all 4 parts. That transcends from simple summary to analysis. So the poor essays just summarize the novel with little, if any, attention to Knowles as the author responsible for creating meaning. Take a look at your essay and see how often the word Knowles appears. If it appears once and then never again, you're not properly following this advice. One of the juniors asked me last night to proof her Crucible essay that she's writing for AP. Same criticism. She used the author once in her claim, and then never again did I see the author's name appear. That's poorly integrated. It's actually off topic, because if your claim is talking about the author, your sentences should be talking about the author. Can you use Gene or Finney or Lepper as the subject of your sentence? Sure. But the primary subject of your sentences should be Knowles at all times. These are pretty simple procedures to follow. And those students who pick up these procedures and say, wow, that's pretty easy, I'm just going to make sure I'm talking about Knowles. Knowles does this, Knowles does that. Write really clear, very well integrated essays. Not that difficult to trick. I'd like to show you an example of one that I consider to be pretty much as good as I could hope for. Yeah, that's a little bit confusing. So let's do this. In a separate piece, Knowles uses Finney's denial and idealistic nature to approach the theme of evolution. Denial and idealistic nature are characterization. Those are aspects of Finney's character, and they're used to develop a theme. So I've got a good two-part exchange of device to effect. Knowles, separate piece, it's a full claim. Finney never accepts war or losing, which results in him perishing. She has a follow-up sentence which elaborates a little bit on the claim, thus making sure that I fully understand, and then breaks paragraph. Throughout the novel, Finney has an idealistic approach to war and competition. Topic sentence, very clear. In Finney's perspective, everybody wins. When Gene discusses Finney's view on sports, he states, nice quotation integration here, by the way. He states leads me into the quotation. She gives me a little bit of a background. We're going to talk about that strategy in more detail on Wednesday of next week. When you played a game, you won in the same way as when you sat down to a meal, you ate it. It inevitably and naturally followed. Finney never permitted himself to realize that when you won, they lost. Finney is fully convinced that it is possible for everyone to win. In war, somebody must lose. If Finney carries a mentality into war that everyone will win, he will immediately perish. Totally integrated back up into the claim. Her final sentences of that paragraph remind me of the claim idea and integrate that evidence right into it. Lepper once states the main theme of the novel, which is everything has to evolve or else it perishes. If the boys do not evolve and mature for war, then they will perish. Finney never evolves throughout the novel. He convinces himself that the war does not exist, which shows no sign of maturity. Gene carries a more realistic view of the war. Towards the end of the novel, he has a view of acceptance. Gene understands that he must accept the war to survive. Knowles develops a theme of evolution throughout the novel to stress the importance of preparing for war. If the boys do not accept and adapt for war, they will perish. Finney never accepts the war or the idea of losing, which ultimately results in his death. Evidence from multiple points in the novel. We have both the quotation regarding sports competition and then Lepper's moment of evolve or perish. So she's integrating material from different points in the novel under one clear claim. Everything's integrated. I see Knowles appearing down here. Maybe not as often as I'd like to see Knowles as the subject of the sentence. She could have done that a little bit more, but she didn't lose him. He's still in there. That's what I'm looking for. That's the kind of integration. Lead with your claim, integrate all evidence, spread your evidence throughout the novel, and it's good. This is also a perfect score on Muggs, because not a single one of these errors that you see is an error that I have listed on the list online that'll cause you to lose points. No passive voice, no improper capitalization or improper spelling. She spelled separate correctly. Please, 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 when you're spelling the title of a novel and it's printed on the assignment sheet, spell it correctly. That's good.